So my background has dried and now I'm going to work into the details of the trees. So all of this texture has come out fine. I've had some salt on there and I splattered across here. So really I'm just going to define the trees now. I'm using the sepia tone here, and then I'm either cooling the sepia or burnt umber colour down with either blue to cool it down or some red to warm it up. So I'm imagining that you've got one side of the trees that's slightly warmer side than the other. Okay, so I'm going to basically work through that and strengthen the nearest trees. So the strongest tree is this one here, which is like the closest into the foreground. So I've just put some of the sepia or umber in the centre. It's quite dark. And then what I'm going to do is make a slightly cooler side, the blue, and a slightly warmer side with the red. Just see how that makes things feel. So I'm imagining the warmth of the sun coming from the central section here. This is how I'm going to work through the piece. So just a few simple dry brush marks here, high up into the canopy of the pine trees here. So the dry brush needs to be where you've basically taken most of the paint from the brush, so it's nice and textured. And when it's pretty much all gone, then you put that onto the dry, it needs to be very dry, the dry paper. Okay, so it probably means that your brush needs to be really, really dry. Then into the paint. Okay, try that. So this is just giving a little bit of texture to the pine trees here. It's a fine line between getting it too wet and too dry. Got to work it off quite a bit, and you don't really know how it's going to go down. If it does go down a little bit too wet, just blot it off. I mean, this is the effect that we want here, but it doesn't always translate onto the painted surface, so just keep trying. And the more paint there is on the brush, the better. Okay, so it's quite a high canopy area there. Another one over here. And then just in the distance here, just make sure your marks are smaller as that goes away from you. Smaller and fainter. Just give a feeling of the distance there. And then we've got something else here. So you can work into this as you go. use different size brush if that makes life a little bit easier for you.